things I think that I'm going to be able to bring to the table is a fresh approach to our budget. That's one of the things I talked about in our Meet the Candidate forum that we had last week. Um, I'm conservative, but I'm also conservative in terms of the way we spend money. My approach to spending the money is look how it's the short-term effect and then the long-term effect. So, for example, it may be a great idea, but is it a good idea to spend the money? And what's it going to look like 5 years, 10 years from now? And when we make a major investment, whether that's infrastructure, a stadium was kicked around several years ago for recreation, this, that, and the other. We got to look at, is it going to hamper, the future councils that come after us? And not only that, first and foremost, does it make sense for, the voter here in Bluefield? I got involved, and my whole reason behind running was I had some questions, I had some concerns about the way that the town was spending money. And not necessarily that they were doing a bad job with it, but some things I think may or may not make sense at the time. And so someone told me, said, you can either complain or you can get out and do something about it. So that really influenced my decision to run.
What initiative would you like to see enacted here to help Bluefield grow or stay the same? Or what's your vision?
Well, we obviously took a hit here in the town with the number of jobs lost right across the line there with the Bluefield Regional Medical Center. I think one of the first initiatives I would like to see is some type of community-based hospital. That idea has been kicked around. There's a committee in place right now that is looking into different possibilities that we might have, and I think we need to explore all of them. I think locally between the two Virginias, right here, West Virginia, and the two Bluefields, we lost somewhere around 350 jobs, I think 343 jobs. And so, I think first and foremost, look at bringing some, we lost the jobs, we also lost, access to health care. And it's unfortunate now, wait times are lengthy at the Princeton ER. They did manage to come back and keep our ER open, but some of those major trauma services that they probably could provide before, they're going to have to divert you somewhere else, whether that be down to Tennessee or Roanoke or Charleston or somewhere else. So I think access to health care and maybe some community-based approach to try to bring some of those healthcare jobs back here.
It sounds like a chicken and the egg sort of thing. Do we want to focus on our economy first to attract talented medical people, or do we want to attract medical people to build a stronger economy? Which do you think is the way that we should be going?
I think the two go hand in hand, but from an economic standpoint, we need to probably focus on infrastructure. Because infrastructure, in my opinion, does drive the economy.
And specifically, what infrastructure would you be looking at?
In addition to, first of all, clean water. That's always the first, right? The basic utilities that we need, power, water. But also, as we continue to go down the digital highway, so to speak, we need access to high-speed internet. We have a lot of areas in the county, just outside Bluefield, and even people in Bluefield, for example, that do not have high-speed internet. They need ready access to that, and it needs to be affordable. Based on the median salaries and stuff like that. There are different options. There's cable, there's fiber, there's wireless. We just need to make sure that we have infrastructure in place to facilitate that and to be able to offer it at a reasonable rate.
Do you think there'll be some people that'll be resistant to trying to attract a bigger population, a more urban style population?
Yes, I definitely think so. I think there's the old guard, so to speak. If you look at the way Bluefield is now, we have a healthy mix of young people in the middle-age spectrum, and even in some elderly here in the town. I think we don't relegate ourselves to just being a bedroom community. We need to continue to look ways to attract small business and other businesses that can help the local economy, first of all.
And you use this expression, bedroom community. What does that mean?
The nice, quiet community where, there's not a lot going on. There's not a lot of economic boom. There's not a lot of factories, not a lot of hustle and bustle in the town. I think that's one of the things that kind of attract people to a smaller town.
Right.
But at the same time, for the town to continue, we need to be able to grow. And obviously we do that by revenues. If we need to be able to keep people here. As children grow up, they go to college. A lot of the kids are moving out of this area. They're
Right.
not staying here. And it's probably all across rural America. Definitely, we're experiencing an exodus, if you will. People are going where there are jobs. It's hard to get some bigger, high-paying jobs here, based on different types of factories or manufacturing or so forth. But people would move here as the workforce becomes more mobile over the years. It has, and will continue to, in my opinion. We need to be able to give them services to be able to work remote. I'm a remote worker myself. My company is headquartered out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm able to live here and work. I definitely appreciate that.
Right. Is there anything that the town can do to facilitate more people? Let's say we do decide we do want these people from urban areas, suburban areas that want to get away from the cities because of the unrest. We want to set them up as best as possible. What would be the first step that you would take to make these people feel, hey, this Bluefield's the place to go?
Well, first of all, I think we have to be able to offer the types of services. Wow.
No way you're gonna
You're not
compete with that muscle
no.
car.
I think we have to be attractive in terms of what we can offer. If I were going to move into a town or city, I would want to look at, first of all, schools. I would want to look at what other services are available, whether that's recreation or dining or any of the shops and so forth that we have.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have to make it plausible, for small businesses to come into our downtown area and make it a little more lively than it is. When you're trying to attract people from the outside, you have to have something to bait them here. You got to have the basic services, and I think that's always a focus. But some people will argue that they don't want to compromise the quality of life that we do have by bringing in, by growing, so to speak. But then again, if we're not growing, therefore we're shrinking. Tax revenues are shrinking. Mm-hmm. Our receipts are shrinking. I think, believe it or not, in the midst of the COVID crisis this year, I think our receipts are actually, they're up. Mm-hmm. But to sustain growth, we're going to have to continue to grow locally.